Welcome once again to the Guy Blog Podcast. As always, your host, Orlando Rodriguez. So today we're going to be talking about, this is a long overdue episode, about, a week overdue. We're talking about NXT TakeOver WarGames. Now, I was extremely hyped up for this pay-per-view. The WarGames match is, first is a Dusty Rhodes original. And it is one of the most unique matches in all of wrestling. Two rings together with technically surrounded by a cage, but it's actually, instead of surrounded by a cage, how you see in cage matches and Hell in a Cells where they have like some room to go outside. WarGames has two rings side by side. A cage all around it, but the cage is snug to the ring, to the point where the cage doesn't actually touch the floor. The cage comes down just to the mat, so like barely any room to even hit the ropes correctly. And that's just part of what makes this match special. The two rings, even more. The rules where it's a hybrid of a Hell in a Cell / cage match / Royal Rumble Tornado tag team matchup. It has so many things at once, and yet it is just perfectly awesome. It's full of action, it's full of violence, and it's a special match that the only reason it hasn't been done in about 10, 20 years? 20 years is just because it's two rings side by side. It's hard to film the rest of a pay-per-view or of just a normal show when you have an empty ring that you're not using. On top of that, when you're WWE, you want to get as many people into the most expensive seats, and you have to give up a lot of those seats to put a second ring down on the floor. But, man, NXT shows that this can be done, and when done right, is so totally worth it. First of all, the production crew was not the best. And I just want to start off with that. I already told you how awesome I thought this night was going to be, and it was. But to be clear, the production, the director, they were not on point. And it wasn't that the double ring had them off. They were just missing spots. They weren't filming things correctly. They just missed things, and it was almost a travesty from that point of view. Now, on the other hand, what they did do well was somehow missing all of the good parts, but they managed to keep the focus on the ring where the action is. So the way they handled this was they would have to give all the ringside seats kind of like equal opportunity. They would have one match in one ring, not touch the other ring at all, then have the next match in the other ring. And in this, the production crew did a good job, because instead of it being like an eyesore where you just were looking at this empty ring on TV and just thinking, why don't they go there? Why don't they go there? Oh, obviously they're told not to go there. Instead, it just felt like a normal match. Like that other ring wasn't even there. And that in and of itself was a job well done. But they did mess up in just catching all of the action, which was amazing, especially for the main match. Now, before we get to that main event, let's talk about the rest of the card. Lars Sullivan versus Kassius Ohno. This was weird, and just weird in the setup of Kassius Ohno out of nowhere decides that he wants to take on Lars Sullivan. Okay. And Regal said yes, because, it's Regal. He's not going to say no to a good fight. So from that point of view, it made sense for him. It'd be something good to put on. Guess Kassius Ohno wanted to challenge himself, and Lars Sullivan is not going to say no to a fight, ever. So it was It was a good opportunity for Lars Sullivan. It was an opportunity to kind of showcase his talent instead of just using jobbers, jobbing out people, come up against a talent that's considered one of the best wrestlers around, and to see how he does. And he did quite well. So it was a good match. It wasn't the best match, but on a night like this, it's almost impossible for this to be the best match. But you have to give it all the credit in the world because it was a very good match. And heck, this match is a match you can have on Raw, on SmackDown, and it would fit right there in the middle of the show. It wouldn't be the main event, but it does its job. And for the fact that it's the opening match, it's actually a nice warm-up to get the crowd going for what's coming next. So, how did this match end? Simple. How it's supposed to end. With Kassius Ohno trying to knock out Lars Sullivan catching him and hitting him with the freak accident. I mean, great name for a finisher. Devastating. Lars Sullivan is coming off as the Braun Strowman of NXT, and that's just exactly where he should be. So it's excellent all the way around. He's still developing. He's still getting better. So it really was a good match and a good showcase for this young talent that is on his way up. Now, after this match, we had a match that I really wanted to see. And it was between Aleister Black and Velveteen Dream. And Velveteen Dream, Patrick Clark, when he came out with this character, I felt like he was jumping from character to character, seeing what worked, and everything was kind of flopping, and Velveteen Dream really looked like it was heading in that direction. It's just the fact that you have somebody that is as physically imposing as Patrick Clark, young guy, tall, muscular, very much in shape, not skinny by any chance of the imagination, not gangly, not anything like that. And he comes out and he's basically doing a kind of Prince type of character. And part of what made Prince so special and artists like him was the fact that, they were all that, but they didn't look it. They looked like $1,000,000, but they weren't your typical sex idol. They weren't, an Arnold Schwarzenegger, a Sylvester Stallone, a Jean-Claude Van Damme. They weren't this big, tough, muscular guy. They were, smaller and, not quite the same as everybody else and different in the way they did everything. And, they were the guy that the muscular guys would look at and say, how the heck is he getting that girl? And Velveteen Dream is kind of like if you took Jean-Claude Van Damme or Sylvester Stallone or Apollo Creed or any of these strong guys and Terry Crews and you mix them up in a blender with Prince, you'd get Velveteen Dream. And it's just, at first it was awkward to look at. This character was definitely unique, but can somebody as muscular and, how do I put it, but just like this guy that has the body and the body language of this typical alpha male, and can he play Velveteen Dream? And to be honest, over time, it's kind of like Patrick Clark started finally getting lost and Velveteen Dream was getting found. And he was really turning and converting and becoming the Velveteen Dream, adding little mannerisms, adding little extra things where, yes, he is this kind of enigmatic character, but at the same time, he is strong and he is vicious when he has to be. But most of all, he's cocky and self-absorbed. And that was the perfect place to be the core of a character who wants only one thing. How the hell does this character have a feud against Aleister Black? How do these two paths cross? How does Prince get in a beef with Metallica? With Pantera? How? How? With Motorhead? How does that happen? How does Michael Jackson, come in and try to, get into it with Pantera? It just doesn't make sense. How are they on the same stage? So it was an awkward thing, but that's where, Velveteen Dream being vicious when he has to be, being tough when he has to be, being, aggressive and just rabid when he has to be, but more importantly, always showing that his core is being self-absorbed and being all about the Velveteen Dream, helped build the most simple of feuds you could ever have, which is somebody that is egotistical, self-centered, self-absorbed, narcissistic, and what does that person want more than anything? To be acknowledged. That when they walk in a room, or in this case, when they walk into a ring, get acknowledged by the others, whoever they may be. And in this case, the others are Aleister Black, considered one of the best, if not the best talent in NXT. And when you have this person that's revered by everybody, by the fans and the announcers, and everybody loves seeing Aleister Black. He's the badass of NXT. Velveteen Dream just wants one thing: for Aleister Black to say his name. And it's such a simple concept for a feud. And you would say, well, if Aleister Black just says his name, then it's over. And you would be right. But the fact that Aleister Black is that Pantera, is that Metallica, he's not going to do what you ask him to do. More importantly, he's not going to do it because you're telling him. You're not asking him. And Velveteen Dream wants Aleister Black to acknowledge him just because. And Aleister Black is not going to do that. And Aleister Black was not willing to do that. That's the basis of this feud, and it's freaking amazing that that's all it took. It was just, he could have said his name and it would be over, but he was unwilling to do so because Velveteen Dream hasn't proved anything to him. He's nobody to him. And he's just whining and just yelling and throwing a tantrum because he wants Aleister Black to say his name. And, Aleister Black works off of respect. Doesn't respect the guy enough to just call him by his name. Amazing, but it works. Because Velveteen Dream, self-absorbed, narcissistic, is a character that gets his way. Gets what he wants when he wants it, as soon as he wants it. And by Aleister Black not giving him this simple request, he just blew up this fuse. He made a feud with Velveteen because Velveteen just can't let it go. He's throwing tantrums because that's what he wants. And he's 100% focused that all he wants is just for Aleister Black to say his name. And he doesn't care about anything else. And that's pretty narcissistic. I mean, you could go, try to get a title, do this, go that. No, you don't care about anything. The only thing you care is about hearing your own name, having this person say your name. It honestly is a great build-up. The match was amazing. The psychology, I've spent this much, and I don't think I've ever spent this much just talking about the build-up of this type of match at NXT, even anywhere in WWE in the last couple of years. And it's a joy just to talk about it, and I haven't even gotten to the match. I could tell you all the things that happened in this match. But I honestly, guys, gals, I want you to go to the WWE Network and just watch it and enjoy what a real, true wrestling match is supposed to be. How the psychology, telling a story. And yes, how do you come out winning even when you lose? And that's wrestling. Wrestling is the one sport where you can lose and come out a winner. And Aleister Black was supposed to win. Anybody watching this knows Aleister Black is supposed to win. Velveteen Dream is going to lose. So what's going to happen? This feud is going to go on because he still wants him to say his name. But are they going to swerve us? No. It looked a couple of times like they might have, but no, Velveteen Dream lost. Aleister Black won. However, at the end of it, Aleister Black just said the only thing that Velveteen Dream really cared about. Aleister Black just told him to enjoy infamy, Velveteen Dream. And Dream's face, which was full of anguish and hurt and pain from just losing, and yet when he heard that, a smirk just crawled on his face, and it was just perfect psychology, and it's the perfect way to take a character, to take a feud where one is supposed to win and everybody knows it, another is supposed to lose and everybody knows it, and yet after that happens, we as fans feel satisfied, and both the winner and the loser are elevated to a higher place than they were before the match. Great psychology, great job by NXT. Whoever put this match together, Aleister, Velveteen, Shawn Michaels, Road Dogg, everybody, amazing job all around. This was just an amazing match. I could describe it. You could look for the GIFs, you could look for the videos on Twitter. Don't. Do yourself a favor. Go to the network. Find this match. Watch it. It was, for me, besides the main event, the match of the night. It was that good. So, please, take the time. Best wrestling match you'll see in at least, one of the best this year. Easily top 10. Easily. Now, moving on, I will not talk about any other match as much as I talked about this one. I don't think I could. But to the NXT Women's Championship match. So we had Peyton Royce versus Kairi Sane versus Nikki Cross versus Ember Moon. This was a very good match. And, NXT does one of the best jobs in, at least out of all the brands in WWE, in showcasing women. And women wrestling is great in NXT. I can't complain about this match. The one complaint, if I were to have one, was how it ended. It ended great. It definitely showed that something special had to happen for somebody to finally win. However, we have a new champion, and that new champion is Ember Moon. And she beat the person that I felt should have won by defeating Nikki Cross, basically. And, I don't know. She hit the Eclipse on, let's just put it easier. It was a great match. Anybody that won this match deserved to win this match. And me saying that I wanted Nikki Cross to win and that it should be her time should not take away anything from Ember Moon, because Ember Moon is really an amazing AAA talent, one of the best. If Peyton Royce had won, she deserves it also. If Kairi Sane had won, she deserves it also. I just feel Nikki is on a slightly higher level right now of just having her moment. But I don't want that to take anything away. Anything at all. from Ember Moon, because really all I'm talking about is preference. There was no wrong winner in this match, no matter who won. There was no wrong way for this match to end, unless it would have been like a quadruple disqualification and they had to do it again. Besides that, everything else, it was a good match. Nothing to complain about. Now, from there, we're going to move to the NXT Championship match. Andrade Cien Almas versus Drew McIntyre. What a match. And add this, because Andrade Cien Almas has probably the best run in all of WWE wrestling of the best matches in specials. Maybe Charlotte Flair is close. But if it's an NXT TakeOver, Cien Almas will show up. And he will deliver. I mean, it is crazy. Every single time, whether you have high expectations, mid expectations, low expectations, by the end of the match, you're going to be like, damn, that was a good match. And it's always Andrade Cien Almas. On every single takeover he's been on, he has delivered. So, and even when it's not, I've seen plenty of matches of Andrade Cien Almas where I'm like looking at it, I'm like not excited for it. And then afterwards, I'm like, this was a good match. Andrade Cien Almas just has it. And since they added Zelina Vega, it's been another level for him. She's been that missing piece to get him over and to really turn him into something special in NXT. And possibly when he comes up to SmackDown or Raw, he should go to SmackDown, by the way. But wherever he goes, lots of twists and turns, a lot of things that we thought were going to happen, lots of points for us to think the match was going to end, but it ended where it needed to end. Or did it? It did, because it looked like everybody thought Drew McIntyre is not going to lose. But there is one case in which we could have expected him to lose. And that case would have been if they're calling him up. I believe that was the case. They were going to call him up. Why? Because he lost. And honestly, I thought he was going to win. But after seeing it and thinking about it, I believe it was a call-up. I mean, and Drew McIntyre is a guy that doesn't need a lot of time in NXT because he's been here before. He's been in WWE. He knows the system. He knows how things work. And he knows why he was, fired. He reworked, got his level back up. He trained, he got better, and came back. There's no reason for him to spend a year or two in NXT. So a short title run and then coming right up would have been perfect for him. Sadly, in the last move, as things tend to happen in wrestling, in the very last move, while holding the rope right before a killer spike DDT, it seems he hurt his arm and he might be out for 6 to 9 months. And that is horrible. I really hope he recovers quickly. I hope he can come back to NXT even better. I hope he shows up in SmackDown or Raw. He has the talent on the mic, in the ring, to really be a top-level talent, to be a main eventer. Having said that, Cien Almas winning this title, as surprising as it is actually well-deserved. The man delivers every match. When you're having this level of matches, I mean, it's like Johnny Gargano, but with Zelina Vega, it added that special something of now Zelina can take him and make him a babyface or make him into the most hated heel. We're no longer indifferent to him because we feel he has either an unfair advantage, which is what we feel right now, or he has this person that's supporting and believes in him all the time and telling us about how great he is. It is great, and Zelina Vega has come in on fire. And the fact that they made her a manager instead of a wrestler, no complaints. The fact that she can wrestle is great for the future for her, but this is where she belongs right now. And it takes a special talent to take somebody like Cien Almas and just put him on this level. So, kudos all around. Another amazing match. Still wouldn't trade it for the Velveteen Dream, Aleister Black, which is a match I want to and will watch again. At least once, twice, maybe 3 times. But it was a great match. Let's move on to the main event. WarGames. This is just, it's unbelievable that this is back. And the only sad part is that Dusty Rhodes isn't around to see it happen. But Dustin, his son, Cody, they are available. Dustin was able to be there. Cody was watching this on the network. And I'm just happy for them to see that something that their father built, something so original, was brought back. And the Authors of Pain with Roderick Strong, the Undisputed Era, and SAnitY, they definitely gave it the justice that this match deserves. Now, this was the same cell structure, except without a roof, which worked out perfectly, actually even better. And there was, for people complaining, they made a very easy walk around against not having a roof. If you escape the cage, you're disqualified. Your team is disqualified. So there goes any reason for anybody wanting to leave except for the violence. And the way they presented it and had Arn Anderson and had all of these guys talking about when they fought, that this is a match that you do not win, you just survive. Man, this is another one that you should watch, because if you haven't watched a full WarGames match, if you've heard of it and you've seen clips, watch this WarGames. Yes, it's kind of a reinvention. It's slightly different. The rules are slightly different. But what a great, great, great match. They really gave it their all. The Authors of Pain did not win because they might be on their way up. SAnitY did not win because they have their titles. The Undisputed Era won because the Undisputed Era should be winning. That they just came in to shock the system and take over. They needed to win. But the match, amazing. And something that I love about NXT is they don't overbuild things. And what I mean with that is they don't force, 10 matches into a 5-match show. They don't force extra matches just because. They don't do any of that. They let their shows breathe. And because they do that, their matches have more time, and those matches can then breathe, and they can build. So they start out slow, and they just become faster and harder and better and more exciting as it goes on. So in NXT, you see a lot more matches that remind me of the Attitude Era, in the fact that they're a roller coaster of emotions. They build, they go up, they slow down, they go again, and it's exciting all around. And you have these moments that are like that freaking 180-foot drop, like from a roller coaster. It's just, it's exciting, inevitably exciting. And the fact that, night after night, show after show, and takeover after takeover, they keep having matches like this that build, that obviously were very well thought out, that takes you, not just from 0 to 100, but from 0 to 100 to 50 to 80 to 20 to 120. The fact that their matches are like that, it just tells you that since they do it consistently, they know what they're doing. And for that, kudos to everybody in the back. Kudos to Triple H for being the type of person that's created this environment where this is being built out that way. So all of these guys that are learning how to wrestle for WWE are learning the right way, even if it might be messed up when they go to SmackDown or Raw, that their fundamentals are very good. They know the fundamental psychology of a match is very good. So it's great all around. And man, this was a great end to the night. Just an amazing match, an amazing night of wrestling. I can't say enough good things about it, except check it out. Check it out today. Check it out immediately. If you don't believe me, too bad. Go to the WWE Network and just watch it. And after you watch it, tell me that there was something wrong with this match. Tell me that it was not an amazing match. Tell me that this pay-per-view was not better than most pay-per-views, except for Survivor Series, which I'll be talking on another episode about, because it's the pay-per-view that was supposed to suck but didn't, because they fixed it last minute. But besides that, NXT is consistently good, and this TakeOver was amazing. And the fact that they brought back WarGames, and rumor says that it was so good and so well received in the back and in corporate that they might be doing it every year around this time. I have no qualms about that. People that say, oh, bring it out as a special. No, bring it once a year. Once a year, let's have WarGames. I trust NXT to build feuds just for this pay-per-view the right way. I trust that they will not do 2-week builds. So, all the way around, great special, great pay-per-view, if you will. Great night of wrestling. Watch it on the network. You really should. It's one of the best wrestling programs that, from top to bottom, the WWE has put together all year. No BS. I'm sorry, not joking. It was that legit good. As always, I want to hear from you. Orlando at theguyblog.com, on Twitter at theguyblog, at guyblogpodcast. Same on Instagram, same everywhere else. Let me know what you think. If you have any questions, if you have any comments. As always, Orlando Rodriguez, your host. Guys, gals, take care and talk to you soon.